What's going on, gardeners? It's Thursday, September 30th, and today I'm going to show you all how to build an easy and cheap do-it-yourself teepee for vertical garden trellising. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated. For quite a while now, I've been dreaming about having some kind of arbor or overhead tunnel that I could walk in and have some kind of fruiting vines or vegetable vines growing overhead where the fruits and vegetables would hang down and I could just walk in and pick as I go. I think that would be the coolest thing. There are many different designs that you can make to make that happen. However, some of them are more complicated and expensive than others. One of the easiest and cheapest do-it-yourself overhead trellising designs where you can make that happen is a garden teepee. Now, there are a lot of garden teepee tutorials out there on YouTube. However, what I noticed is most of them either use really expensive and hard to find bamboo poles, or they're just too tall for most adults to walk in. So I'm going to build an easier and cheaper solution with more readily available materials that will give me a very tall teepee in order to make this happen. The overwhelming majority of these materials can be picked up at your local big box store for very cheap. Here I have 1/2 inch electric metallic tubing electrical conduit. I have 4 of these. I also have 4 3/8 inch diameter by 4 foot long pieces of rebar, which will be inserted into the conduits in order to provide stability. Then I have just a standard assorted mix of zip ties. And then I have leftover nylon rope that I used for Florida weaving my tomatoes this season. I kept it, I didn't throw it out. I want to repurpose it. If not, you can just go to my Amazon storefront and buy one of these synthetic nylon twine bundles for just a couple of dollars, or go pick them up at your local big box store. And that's really all the materials that we need to build this. Now, I have 4 20-gallon grow bags here, and there are different types of small cucurbits in all of these grow bags. Here I have cucumbers. Here I have cantaloupe. Here I have Armenian yard-long melons. And then over here I have larger full-size watermelon. I'm not going to trellis these because they're too large to be trellised. They're going to sprawl out on the ground. But the other 3 are small fruits that I will be able to easily trellis up this structure. Now let's discuss spacing. I'm going to space these 4 poles in a 4 foot by 4 foot square. So I put duct tape where all the poles are going to go. So that's one piece of duct tape. Then over here I have another piece of duct tape that's spaced 4 feet apart. Then you'll see over here I have another piece of duct tape right at that 4 foot mark right there. And then down here I have the 4th and final piece of duct tape that you can see right there, and that is going to mark the location of all of my poles. Now, there are 2 ways you could go about doing this. You could either drill holes with some type of bulb auger into the ground and insert your poles, or you could do what I'm going to do. You could take this rebar and just whack it into the ground on an angle about halfway, and then slide the conduits over this piece of rebar. And I'm going to do it this way because I want to maintain this weed barrier for as long as possible to grow on, so I don't want to put large holes in my weed barrier. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and bend it on an angle like this, because the poles need to lean over on top of each other. You can't whack it straight into the ground. And that's been placed in there pretty strongly, so I'm going to do that to the other 3 corners. And in case you're wondering how far this rebar is embedded, there is 33 inches sticking above ground, and these are 48 inches long, so that means they're embedded 15 inches deep. I don't want to go any deeper than that, or these become impossible to pull out without digging them out. So now that our rebar supports are embedded, I'm going to place my conduit. Now that the teepee has been erected and is maintaining its structure on its own just under gravity, I'm going to zip tie the top to provide initial security, and then once the zip tie is holding everything in place, I'm going to take some of my leftover twine and tie it around it very tightly in order to provide permanent support for the structure. And now the structure is up, and I have to say, I'm really impressed by how sturdy this is. This really isn't going to go anywhere. It's a lot stronger than I thought it would be. Now, standing in the middle of this, the only thing I would say is if I could do this all over again, I may make my square just a little bit wider. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Now I'm simply going to take my string and I'm going to tie it around 3 sides of this teepee. That way I still have an entryway to walk in, and the sides will be vertical trellises. And here is our teepee as of now. The string has been pulled tight along 3 sides of the teepee, and it is this tight string that will provide the trellis for my various vines to climb up. Now obviously I want these vines to climb up this trellis, so I'm going to place this grow bag right up against the pole of this trellis, and then I'm going to orient the vines in such a way so they will be able to catch the trellis. And then they will naturally tie themselves to the strings, and they will crawl and climb their way up the trellis. So now, as you can see, I have my vines strategically placed and started up the trellis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these a couple of weeks to begin the climb, and then we're going to check back in and we're going to see how the trellis performed. It's Sunday, October 17th, and just look how far my vertical teepee has come. The vining crops have trellised their way halfway up the teepee. Now I want to take you in for a closer look. Over here I have my China Jade cucumbers, and they look really good overall. I did get a little bit of a worm infestation, but I treated it with some spinosad, and overall they look nice. And on this side they're performing exactly as planned. I have a nice cucumber forming here. I have another cucumber forming down there. I have cucumbers forming all over the place. So this is doing exactly what I want it to do. I want it to be a really cool vertical trellis to harvest some food. Then over here I have some Kahari melons. I don't really see any fruit on here yet. However, the vines are doing well overall, sans the caterpillar infestation. They've made it probably around 40% of the way up the trellis, and they are flowering all over. Then over here I have my watermelon. This was just an experiment just to grow them on ground cover. I am getting melons on them, so that's really cool. There's a nice big one there and a nice big one there. And we're probably going to get a frost in about 3 or 4 weeks. So I will probably have to snip those vines off in order to make sure I concentrate all of the energy into that fruit. And then over here I have the honey rock cantaloupes. And I didn't see any fruit on here yet, but it is flowering profusely. And I think it probably will fruit for me soon. Those vines are pretty heavy and they're tugging down on the strings pretty hard. But overall, it is doing what I want it to do. So overall, I'm really happy with the way this teepee came out. I'm so happy with it that when I get my frost and I rip out all of these plants, I'm going to leave the infrastructure here because I'd really like to grow on this teepee again during the spring. And it's kind of late now in the season, so I don't expect a lot of production for a fall crop because I started them so late. But in the spring, I think I will see fantastic results, and they will easily top this teepee and give me that really cool look and vertical harvest that I've really been looking for. It's so cheap and easy to build that I really think every garden should have one of these as just a little showpiece because it's so cool and it really draws the eye, and it's going to look fantastic when it is all covered by the vines. So everybody, I sure hope you found this little DIY tutorial fun and interesting and helpful, and I hope it inspires you to build something similar to this. If you found it helpful, please make sure to hit that like button and ring that notification bell so you're informed when I upload more videos like these. If you're curious about any of the products I use in my garden, they're all linked down below in my Amazon storefront, and check out my spread shop for merch as well while you're there. Thanks again so much for watching, and we hope to see all of you again on the next video.
Oh, we have a new giggle ball for Dale, and he's so excited to go outside. I don't even think he notices. that the screen door is shut. Oh, you collided with it, buddy. Oh, no. Oh. Dale, come on. Let's play with your new ball. Let's play with your new ball. Oh, he's very protective of it. Oh, he likes this ball so much. You ready? You ready? Go! Oh, he's so happy.